And welcome back to another edition of the Big Knick Energy podcast. I'm your host, Joe Yoke, the bald kid wonder. I got my broken back sidekick here, Angelo, the mastermind underneath the covers. And today, our very, very special guest, maybe the biggest Knicks fan of all time, Anthony Donaghue, a.k.a. Anthony MSG. How you doing, good sir?
What's going on? The bald wonder. I like that. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Really appreciate it.
No problem, man. I'm glad you're on. And I have to distinguish myself from Angelo one way or another. You know, we look the same.
Yeah, you do look similar. I'll agree. Today's the first day I'm wearing this. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the jersey, but like I think it looks cool. It'll look good at a summertime barbecue. But I will wear it tonight. I like the shorts way better. But
oh yeah.
I'm a traditionalist. Give me the white at home, blue on the road. I don't need any third jerseys. I mean, obviously, every NBA team now has 4 to 6 different jerseys. There's times I'm watching NBA games, it'll be like the Clippers versus the Hornets, right? And they're wearing like colors they never wore before. So I'd be really confused sometimes. So I'm a traditionalist, but it's a cool jersey. I mess with it a little bit, so I rock it today.
Same here. It really confuses me because the Hornets have Buzz City on theirs. Then Portland actually says Oregon on some of theirs now. I'm like, what teams am I watching?
Yeah, listen, I guess we're all getting old, right? And I guess I'm turning into that guy. Like, give me two, like I don't mind. Okay, I guess a third jersey isn't the worst, but just give me a white at home, dark, blue on the road. And it's crazy because so the Knicks, for the most part, have kept the tradition of wearing white at home, but a lot of NBA teams don't anymore. So we rarely see our squad in the blue road uniforms anymore. Like I was in Philly the other night and the Knicks were wearing white because the Sixers were wearing their third or fourth or fifth jersey. So we rarely see our team in the traditional blues anymore, I feel.
And it's really sad because we didn't do the St. Patty's Day one yesterday. I was looking forward to that, or 2 days ago.
Right. We've done that a few times, and it's funny because we wear the city jersey at home sometimes, the blue one, but I feel like we've never wore the traditional blue at home. Unless it's like a retro night, like you remember Melo's first game as a Knick, they were wearing some uniforms.
I love those jerseys, man.
Those are dope. Those are like from the 70s shit. Those were awesome.
I feel like for games that they know, especially if a new player that we were looking forward to comes to town, they're like, we need to make this game jersey more than every other one. Some money grab at the end of the day.
Christmas Day jerseys, though, I want them to bring those. I know it's Nike, not Adidas now, but I want Nike to bring out some fire Christmas jerseys, man. Last 2 years, nothing.
Yeah, no, as long as they don't have the sleeve jerseys, I hated them.
Oh, they were terrible.
Those made me nauseous because I'm like, I just, you don't wear sleeves for basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like,
agreed.
I hated them with a passion.
Usually, if you're playing backyard basketball or going to the court, usually the kid with the sleeves is who you don't pass the ball to.
Exactly.
LeBron hated them, so you know the league had to.
Yeah,
exactly.
When he ripped them in that one game, so that they were done after that. Now I think like they were probably a fine jersey to wear with jeans or something like that.
Yeah.
But like on the court, I despise them.
It's not appealing to the eye at all. Anthony, I was going to say, so you are considered the leader of the Orange and Blue crew. You've been a season ticket holder since 2004. Diehard Knicks fan since around, what are you in, 4th grade, 1993, 94?
Yeah, I was in 4th grade, 92, 93. 5th grade, 93, 94 was the finals.
Nice. So you were saying about your age getting up there. I just want to let you know, man. So Vin, the guy behind the scenes, the one with no camera, his traditionalist style of being 30 years old also wishes we still don't have a 3-point line. So
I mean, he's only 30.
He's only 30. He can't shoot threes. He was 6'4". He wishes they never existed.
I mean, I wish they shot. I mean, I'm a big 3-point shooting guy. Like I do think they shoot too many threes in the NBA now. I do. Yeah, every possession seems like it's going to be a 3 now.
40 a game is a lot.
I don't understand the whole percentage because even if you're other than Steph Curry, even if you're a great 3-point shooter, you're going to miss a lot of threes. So I feel like you have a better chance of making a 15-footer. I don't know. I'm not. Listen, you know who ruins sports?
Analytics.
Yes, but I'll tell you exactly who ruins sports. There's one person that comes to mind, and I can't think of his name. It was that little freaking annoying kid in the movie The Little Giants. Who has the computer. Now, even though he makes the game-winning play, the annexation of Puerto Rico or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that? That kid ruined sports.
Oh my God. And then I think Brucey from The Longest Yard brought it back.
Right. So it's like there's no There's no more, it's not as much thinking anymore. Like, there's a baseball game on at the crib now. Like, I don't follow baseball as much as I used to, still a big Yankee fan, but like, like they don't go by hunches anymore. It's like, but these people in the athletes that play sports, they're all human. They're not robots.
Exactly.
So we go too much. I don't, maybe you guys don't, but we go too much on this analytic stuff now. It's weird.
I was just reading an article and I was actually telling Joey and Vinny that somebody like proposed something to the league offices like in regards to the NBA allowing teams to take 20 3-pointers in a half, and then every 3-pointer after that becomes a 2 until like the fourth quarter with a certain amount of time. Crazy rule. Crazy.
Angelo, do you see how
idea,
bad refs already are? They're not going to keep track of that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, like, I think eventually it'll go in shifts. We'll see. Maybe they can let guys start. We'll never see Derek Harper again. We're never going to see that stuff, the hand checking. But maybe they can find a happy medium where they'll let guys touch you a little more, so you can get a little bit more defense. Because some of these scores, 150 to 145, I don't know. It's a little weird to me. But then again, sometimes when I watch an old '90s game, it's weird too because like, okay, you look at
it's like 80 to 76, and you're like, what is happening?
Right, because then it's like, okay, obviously you had the great big men such as David Robinson, Patrick Ewing, Hakeem Olajuwon, Shaq, Alonzo Mourning. You want to throw in Rick Smits. Every team in the Tim Duncan, of course, obviously. I'm talking about like the mid '90s, early '90s. Every team in the NBA, even if your big man was trash back in the day, walked the ball up the court and always dumped it to the big man, even if the big man wasn't a threat. They would just come down the court and dump it inside for no reason.
Yeah, just because they're the closest to the basket. And it's like Luke Longley's going to get blocked by Olajuwon every time, but we're going to give him the ball anyway. See what happens.
So 90s basketball wasn't perfect. There's no perfect game. That's what I grew up on. So that's all I knew, but the game's changed. It's always going to change. And, some of the shooting now is a little crazy, but hey, it is what it is.
I think once the next big man dominant, I don't know if anybody's going to come into this league looking like Shaq, but that's the only way the game's going to change back to going that way is if somebody's so dominant. But the game's just changed in totality. Like the kids growing up, they're seeing Steph Curry shoot 40-footers. So everybody's going to practice that.
And then we're forced to watch Trae Young do that and flop all the time.
Right. No one's gonna be 10 years. Now you should have a post game. Like no one's gonna be 10 years old working on their post moves. Now, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm a guard. I'm 5'7", but I got post moves. You know what I'm saying? I know, that you watch Obi Toppin catch the ball, you could tell he's got zero post moves.
Yes.
He has no clue what he's doing in that situation.
Anthony, I don't know if you listen to our other podcasts yet, but I literally have a 20-minute rant about Obi Toppin on the last one.
I'm a casual player. I can catch the ball. I know how to do that shit.
Yes.
And like you see Obi Toppin catch the ball in that situation, and he doesn't know what he's doing. And I'll tell you what, I'll never write off a guy after a half a season. But my God, right now, this isn't a hot take at all because I'm not that guy.
You're making me so happy saying this.
Maybe he becomes better than Amari Stoudemire. But right now, he's horrible.
I'm good with him. I'm good with him putting on the trade block already. Half a year in, I don't care.
He's horrible. Right now, he's
supposed to be the most ready-made offensive player in the draft, and he's
right. And I trust Leon and Scott. I just, boy, that he looks terrible. And it was funny. I think it was the first preseason game in was it in Detroit? Was it?
Yeah.
And he had like a dope dunk or two, and it was like, yo, we finally nailed it in the draft. And like, yo, then I watched. Then this dude shot a 3 that it hit the scoreboard. I'm just like, what the hell?
Dude, the stat came out on Twitter a couple of days ago. I think it wasn't Zach Lowe, but it was someone like that. They said that Obi Toppin's taken 10 or 11 corner threes in the year. He's airballed 7.
Yeah, that he should never shoot. No, now with a good point guard and running some pick and rolls where he's going towards the basket, because obviously he's freakishly athletic. That could probably help. But right now, again, maybe he becomes a Hall of Famer. But right now, I'm not saying he's going to be horrible, but right now he's horrible.
He's only had 3 to 4 years of organized ball prior to the NBA.
That's
he looks like it.
That's the weird thing too. And like, there's some guys that are rookies. Maybe they don't play well, but you see them and you see them make the right fundamental things. You see they have footwork. You see they know how to play defense. They know how to shoot. Like I watch Obi shoot a jump shot, and I'm like, what the hell?
I think it's funny when people are like, oh, there was no summer league. And I'm like, summer league would have not taught this dude how to shoot a jumper when he's 23 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not giving up, I just, boy, oh boy.
Oh my God. Anthony, I was going to say, so you are the leader of the orange and blue crew. That's one of the calling signs of your website, all of the things online. Have you ever Googled orange and blue crew before?
I don't think so.
So I got bad news for us as Knicks fans. So
is it taken?
The Edmonton Oilers of all teams have an official orange and blue crew.
Is it orange and blue crew? So I was about to, it's funny you say I started the orange and blue crew in 2017. Obviously, I've been doing Knicks events for 10, 12 years.
Right.
And I was about to have it trademarked or look into it to get trademarked. And that's when my sister got sick and everything kind of went to hell.
God bless. We're sorry about that, by the way.
Thank you, of course. But is it the Edmonton Oilers one? Is it orange and blue crew or the orange and blue crew?
I just had it up. Let me look. I'm pretty sure it's just orange.
So mine would be the orange and blue crew.
That would be a good way to circumvent that. I was going to say, I mean, they've won 5 titles more recently than we've won one. So if you just win one, we can just take it over.
Right. So we were doing some awesome events and I think we still will. Hopefully next year as life becomes better. I did a mini event in Philadelphia the other night where I had 12 fans at the game. So we're the orange and blue crew's coming back. I don't know, maybe hopefully opening night in October 2021, I have 50 fans with me as people, get more vaccinated and all that stuff. But I definitely,
God willing, man, we will definitely be there with you.
You're definitely invited. There's no doubt about that.
Let's go. We'll hate on Obi Toppin together. Don't tell any other Knicks fans. I was going to ask, so you've been considered like an ambassador for a long time. I know you've done work for both SNY and MSG, which little teaser, it's going to be a fun question for us later about those two. But how does someone become a media personality or ambassador by being a super fan? Like, what was the process like for you?
Oh man, that's crazy. So when I graduated high school in 2001, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So for the first
crazy
years,
time to be in New York, by the way, obviously, but
I ran from the World Trade Center falling. That's how I'm able to get the vaccine because I'm actually in the 9/11 studies because I worked in Lower Manhattan between 9/11 and May of 2002, which makes you eligible for the study, which I'm in right now, and that's made me eligible for the vaccine. So I actually have my second dose at Yankee Stadium later today. So the first 2-3 years of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was working for the Board of Elections, City of New York, and my uncle was a big deal there. And then I heard an ad on the radio for the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. So I went to an audition, and I live
in Connecticut, man. I hear those all the time.
Nice. I went to the campus in Long Island in Old Westbury, and I made the school. It was like a 16-20 week program. I passed it, and then right after I got done, I'm like, well, fuck it. At least I tried. And then I went back to the job I was working at. And then I was going to a Yankees playoff game, Game 1, Yankees Twins. This day changed my life forever. It's amazing in life where you could be on a corner and you could go, I was on the corner of 161st and River. The Yankees were playing the Twins, Game 1, 04. Santana versus Kevin Brown, I think, for the Yankees. But I know, I forgot, maybe it was Javi Vasquez. It doesn't matter. I know Santana was pitching for the Twins. And I'm at the corner of 161st and River, and I can go straight to Yankee Stadium, or I can make a left. And I made a left because I noticed that ESPN Radio was broadcasting outside Stan Sports Bar. And I was a big fan of the show Wally and the Key. And I had been a fan of Wally Matthews since I was a kid. Nice. So they're outside, and I went up to them like, yo, guys, I'm a big fan. And I actually, even though it was a Yankee playoff game, I'm a big Yankee fan too, as I said, I wanted to talk Knicks. So I was like, hey, what do you guys think of Jamal Crawford? Blah, blah, blah. We just got Marbury, of course, we're chatting. And I said, I just graduated from the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Do you guys need any help? And mind you, I didn't do well in high school. I barely made it. I didn't go to college. And they were like, yeah, call our boss. Tell him you met us and, see what happens. So I called the boss and I literally played phone tag with them for a month. And
that's usually how it goes.
They're getting interns from Syracuse, Fordham, and then there's me from the streets of the Bronx.
Yeah.
So they finally give me an interview after 5 weeks. I go get an interview. I have nothing on my resume, man. That I delivered papers for the Daily Star for Oneonta upstate. Like, that's it. And he's like, why should I hire you? I'm like, I just want to be around Brandon Tierney. I want to be around Michael Kay. And he's like, all right, I'll let you know next week. And I'm like, why can't you let me know now?
And that's
My
usually
thing
not
was-
a good answer when you hear that for the interview. You're like, oh, I'm not
Right.
going to
And
call
my
back.
thing was, I have nothing to lose. I'm 20 years old. So I said, why can't you let me know now? He's like, can you start next week? So all of a sudden, a week later, I went from like, living in a small town, coming back to the city, going through 9/11. Now I'm getting coffee from Michael K, for BT, for Wally,
Wow.
for Stephen A. Smith. I ended up working there for 4 years. I got hired as a producer eventually. I got to cover a lot of events. I covered the Final Four. I covered so much Knicks stuff, of course. I covered Jets training camp. I went to Giants training camp once with Paul Dottino. This is back between 04 and 08.
Right.
So when I was doing that, I was a diehard Knicks fan all the time. I repped hard. And they used to tell me you couldn't be a fan and work in the business. But I always told them, okay, if you guys send me to a place, I used to go to Knicks practice a lot, get sound.
Right.
I go in regular clothes and do my work. But I said I can be a fan and still put out content. And they were kind of like, that's frowned upon. But I was like, well, Mike Greenberg repped his fandom. Don LaGreca always repped his fandom.
Yep.
Brandon Tierney repped his fandom. Now, obviously, Michael K, Stephen A, Stephen A did a little bit, but it was frowned upon back then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also started my own show at the same time in 2005 in Long Island, where I was paying for the airtime. And the first guest I ever had was John Starks.
What? Damn.
And that was my hero. There's a crazy story behind that. So I was interning for ESPN. When I was interning for ESPN Radio, I paid for the airtime in Deer Park, exit 51, 540 WLIE. So my first show was going to be like the second or third Thursday in January 2005. So I booked my first guest, and it's going to be Brandon Tierney, right? So it's great first guest. First show I ever did.
Another bald man.
Yes, another bald man. That's correct.
Yes, exactly.
So,
we're taking over.
the show's on Thursday. So now it's Saturday morning. I was going to produce the shows for the day at ESPN Radio. I get on the elevator this day, and mind you, ESPN's on 17, and the Knicks offices are on 14. Who gets on the elevator with me on the Saturday morning but John Starks, my hero, my idol. And I'm just like, oh my God.
You got a case of great luck in it.
I'm just like, oh my God. So we get to 14, and I'm just like, hello, John, how are you? Like, I love you, basically. And that was my hero.
Trying to keep it as cool as possible.
So John gets off on 14, and so do I. And he's like, what are you doing? Do you work here? You don't work here, do you? I'm like, no. I go, listen, John, you're my hero. I'm doing my first ever radio show on Thursday. Would you be my first guest? And he's like, sure, call me. I'm like, call you?
Talk about shooting your shot, bro.
Yeah, holy crap.
And he's like, here's my number. I'm like, you're giving me your number? He's like, yeah. I'm like, you're John Starks. He's like, okay, call me and I'll come on your show. I'm like, oh.
That's when it must have first hit you in, when you were like, damn, these guys really are human.
Yeah, what was the feeling once you left that conversation? How much was your heart racing?
So I'll tell you what happens the next 3 or 4 days. So I get to 17 and I am just flipping out. Like John Starks, I just met him. Well, it was the second time I met him. I met him at a Rangers game the year before. John Starks just gave me his number. So all I could think to do was log on to AOL Instant Messenger and update my info and say, John Starks gave me his number. So now I'm like, okay, I got to call him, right? There was no texting yet. Texting was not relevant yet. So I call him the next day, leave him a voicemail. Hey, John. And in his voicemail, he said, hey, this is John Starks. I'm like, wow. I'm like, hey, John, this is Anthony. We met. Just hoping you can come on my show. He doesn't call me back. Now it's Thursday, and no response from John. And I probably left him like 15 voicemails.
Oh my God.
I was 21 years old,
Right.
So finally,
abrasiveness is normal at that age.
At that age, you act like that now, I'm gonna punch you in the face. But, yeah. So John should have punched me in the face.
Yeah.
So now it's the day of the show, and I'm like, all right, I'm having Brandon Tierney on, no big deal. Love BT, that's my guy. And BT and I got very close right away. We're still very close to this day. So now it's Thursday night at about 10:53, I'm going on the air for the first time in 7 minutes my entire life. I got everybody in my hometown logged on the computer to listen, and the signal only probably went to the parking lot of the station. But all of a sudden I get a call at about 10:55 from a blocked number, which was a thing back in the day. I'm like, who the hell is this? But I answer, hello, is this Anthony? Yes. Who's this? Like, this is John Starks. I'm like, John, how are you? He's like, do you still want me on your show? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, so the board op's gonna call you back at 11:05. And like, I started running and jumping up and down. I didn't even have the interview ready to go. So, and all of a sudden the show starts. Now it's 11:05, and the board op is like, he's there, he's ready to go. And I'm just like, oh my God. And this started a tradition for me when I interview Knicks players 16 years later. So he's like, John's on the line. And I go, right now, joining me, please welcome to the show, number 3, John Starks.
Nice.
And then, like, every time I interview a Knicks player since that day, I announce him like Mike Wachowski.
That's all over your podcast too, 33rd and 7th.
Yeah,
You do that for every other.
I did it for, I taped an episode with Derek Harper yesterday. So I did that too, which was the best name ever to say.
Yeah.
And so then I started that show in 2005. I had a lot of big guests on, and it was crazy because back then there was only MySpace, and I even had Facebook yet. So like, I was getting a little buzz, like, wait, who the hell is this guy? I'm having John Starks on, Mike Breen, Gus Johnson, BT. I had Michael K on. I had Stephen A on. I had Jamal Crawford on. I had Nate Robinson on. And people were like, who is this guy? And then eventually, through my connections and just get to know people, SNY gave me a platform in 2009, Tommy D, and said, yo, do what you want. It's yours. Now, I wasn't getting paid at first. They were like, yo, here's the platform. It's all you. I was killing it. I was getting current Knicks players on, and I was getting them all on my own. Just I built all my relationships organically. So
that's crazy. None of the people in the back were trying to help you or anything?
I mean, like, could I ask somebody at ESPN, like, yo, but if you ask anybody that I work with at ESPN to this day, I would be at the Garden and there was like, you know, somebody would go into the bathroom and I'd follow them and get their number. So I'm not saying no one's ever helped me get a guest, but 90% of the guests I've got over the years have been based on me hustling.
That's so impressive. That's
like,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm not one of these guys that's going to be in somebody's DM and be like, yo, I see you're cool with Fat Joe. Could you send me his number? No, that's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last time someone got me a guest, I think from what I remember was so I'm really good friends with Caron Butler, and I know he's close to Brandon Jennings. So when the Knicks had signed Brandon Jennings, I had shot. And then also by then now I'm established, so I can go to somebody and say, hey, are you cool with this person? Could you plug me in? I don't do it much.
Right.
But I went to Karan and say, I know you're cool with Brandon Jennings, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, hey, do you think you could, like, you know, connect him to me? Yo, within 30 seconds, I was on a text that it was me, Karan Butler, and Brandon Jennings. And then I met up with Brandon Jennings like a few days later at 3 a.m. at a hotel in White Plains.
Holy crap.
An episode with him. Yeah. Yeah.
You did the filming at 3 a.m.? Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's so early. Damn, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it at 3 a.m., honestly.
Well, he told me he was going to be, the thing is, he told me he was going to be there at 11 p.m. and I waited. And you know, when it comes to getting an interview, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do. So all my guest interviews I got organically. You know, I met Larry Johnson, I met Allen Houston, met, you know, Earl Monroe, I've had on Clyde. I built all these relationships organically. I don't hop on people's coattails to try to build relationships. I build them on my own. And I take a lot of pride in that because people are like, if you look at a lot of the Knicks podcasts now, they're great. And you guys are all doing a great job. I saw like one show. I feel like my work over the years almost got underappreciated. Here's why. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So I'm cool with Macri, right? And he had Mike Breen on a few weeks ago, which is an amazing guest. Mike, I love Mike Breen. Mike and I have been friends before I was in the business. Been friends with Mike Breen 20 years. So Mike, they were celebrating Macri getting Mike Breen, as they should. That's an amazing guest. But I feel when I was doing the Knicks podcast, that was light work, and people got so used to it. So
right.
I'm not trying to like brag. What's that?
Social media wasn't as like at the top of its game when you were where you were at that point, right?
That's fair too, but there was a buzz with me about like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I've had Spike Lee on. I've had every Knick. Jadakiss, Fabulous, Action Bronson, Jerry Ferrara. I had Jimmy Butler on. I've had Anthony Anderson on. I mean, all this, Rappaport, although Rappaport's canceled now.
Yeah. I'm surprised it honestly
many,
took that long. That dude says a lot of ballsy things.
Yeah. So I take a lot of pride, but I do feel, but after a while, nobody was shocked by my work anymore, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right.
So getting a guy like, it could be Mike or even Clyde. No, people will be like, "Oh, that's awesome. I'll listen," because I think I do a good job. But nobody was surprised anymore.
Right.
Which is obviously a good thing also.
I was going to ask a couple questions based on what you said so far. One of them
Does that make sense to you guys, though? I want to make sure that makes sense.
Absolutely, 100%.
We'll make sure work specials because you were there. Like, it wasn't, obviously you need a little bit of luck in terms of certain things, like the John Stark things. It was really lucky you got off the same stop as him, but you were there hustling,
right?
Doing.
Yes. So
Anthony,
now it's a lot of just firing off DMs to people, hoping someone responds, and sometimes they do.
Yeah.
And to get them on these shows. And I was, I remember that when I met Fab, he went into the bathroom with the Garden, and I waited for him to get out, and I introduced myself, gave me his information. He's been on my show like 4 or 5 times since. So I was there doing. I wasn't just firing off cold DMs.
Speaking of which, I do want to thank you and appreciate the fact that you did answer our cold DM to come on the show in the first place.
Of course, I always answer.
And then 2 things. One of them, both of them regarding what you just said. One of them regarding Brandon Tierney. Since you know him, can you help him get on our show? I'm joking.
I could. Yeah, I mean, I could. I could
joking.
put in a word. I could put in a word.
I was going to say, so obviously we all saw the tweet a couple weeks ago. We all love Julius Randle right now. Is he as crazy as I think he is for him comparing him to Chris Bosh already? That dude has 3 titles and took a major backseat on that team.
I mean, we need to see Julius Randle do this for a little bit longer, but he's great. He's been great. And he's playing now how I thought a lot of us thought he was going to play when he was drafted in 2014 with the Lakers.
Agreed.
Obviously, I believe he missed his whole rookie season. So I remember I have a lot of friends that are real Laker fans. They were very excited when they drafted him. So, his first year of the Knicks didn't go well, but he's been great. His playmaking has been incredible. So I really hope we keep him long-term because the Knicks have done a lot of things wrong in the last 20 years. There's no getting around that. But
we know.
And we don't need to go over all that stuff. But the one thing the Knicks have not had is any sort of stability. And now, of course, you can win the championship and you won't have every guy in the roster back. But at some point, we need to get guys to stay here.
Yeah.
Whether it's someone we drafted, whether it's someone we signed. We can't just sign guys and leave, draft guys and leave. Yeah. So maybe when we get to finally be good enough to win the Eastern Conference, or maybe even win a championship one day, maybe Julius Randle isn't the number 1 option, but he's a guy that should be here the next 10 years.
Agreed.
And hey, if Julius Randle becomes the 2nd best player on your basketball team, well, in hell, you're doing something really awesome.
I think he'd be more than happy to be the guy right now and then be able to recruit a guy and be the backseat.
I agree.
Think he's a problem.
Yeah, and he really loves to facilitate.
He does, 100%. You can tell he likes the point forward position a lot. It's what he thought he was going to get drafted for originally.
Right. So we need some stability. So we need to get guys. The last player we drafted that we signed was Charlie Ward. I mean, I guess you could say Tim Hardaway kind of, because we did draft him in the first round, traded him, then we signed him back.
I don't count that.
Okay, exactly. So we have not signed a first-round pick since Charlie Ward.
We got a chance at Frank this year, I believe, no?
I mean, listen, if they want to bring Frank back for 30 cents, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? I think the whole Frank obsession to me is one of the weirdest things ever. Do I think he's a decent pro? Sure. Can he guard? Yes. But you can't have 4 air balls in a game as a professional basketball player. The obsession with Frank is weird. Do I think he's a good pro? Sure. Do I think should the Knicks re-sign him? Sure. For more than no.
I think
I don't understand.
6 million a year is the max. The max.
Sure, I don't understand. There's some fans literally when they see Frank Ntilikina, they see Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Bill Russell.
With Scottie Pippen's defense.
Right. Yeah. It is one of – listen, ever since going back to me personally, being on the MSG Network blogs in 99, Knicks fans have always, Sprewell Houston, Canby Kurt Thomas, or should Camby take Ewing's spot, or this player over that player. So that's fine. But I have never seen a player cause so much commotion. Danilo Gallinari versus Wilson Champ. I've never seen a player cause so much commotion like I have seen Frank Ntilikina.
Yep,
he's
gonna make the Frank
comment
dropped after this podcast.
But it's not even Frank versus somebody else. So back in the day, like I said, you had maybe with Starks versus Oakley arguments. Sprewell, Houston. Camby Ewing, Camby Kurt Thomas. Whatever. Like I said, Gallo, Wilson Chandler.
And then they're both traded anyway.
Right, exactly. And then it's just Frank.
Frank versus Frank.
He's a decent player. The only reason I would give Frank a max contract is because he pushed LeBron in that game.
Yes.
So if you give him a max deal and say, listen, this is because you pushed LeBron, I'm cool with it.
I'm actually worried about to bring it full circle from earlier, Obi Toppin's love or unsensical love is turning into Frank Ntilikina from 4 years ago.
I'm not giving up on Obi yet because it's only been a few games. But back to Obi, he has sucked so far.
Yeah.
Maybe starting tonight, he'll be Amari times 10. So one thing I want to say to Knicks fans that follow me, and I know everybody loves me. Of course, you get people that don't like you, whatever, or disagree with similar takes. So if I say Obi Toppin has been horrible lately, does not mean I'm saying Obi's going to be horrible tomorrow. It means I think he's been horrible lately. So I love Emmanuel Quickley. So if I say I don't think Emmanuel Quickley is a point guard, does that mean I don't love Emmanuel Quickley?
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? And I wish people understood that. So I think Emmanuel Quickley, in my opinion, is going to be a very good pro. I think he has the chance to be a Lou Williams type, a Jamal Crawford type. And listen, if he turns into Chris Paul, amazing. I don't see that. And then people will say, oh, you don't think he's good? Did I say that?
That's like you saying that Lou Williams is not good. You're saying Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford aren't good if you're saying
right. Now, I don't see Quickley becoming a point guard, but maybe he does because I will say this, he is such a gym rat. Maybe he does become a great point guard. I don't know. As of right now, I think he's more of a combo guard, but also I need to realize as well, the game is much different now. The game is not Kenny Anderson, Gary Payton, John Stockton, Derek Harper, bringing the ball up the court, getting guys, point guards don't do that as much now.
A lot of them are supposed to shoot like Steph Curry.
Right. So the game is so maybe Emmanuel Quickley is a point guard. Maybe I'm wrong on that, so we'll see.
Hey, because he's super young. I was going to actually say, and we'll have plenty of time to figure it out. Working on the talk, we already talked about Randle and Quickley. A couple of the actual Knicks questions I had. You only get to, because of how teams are constructed and stuff, usually contracts extend larger, salary cap's low. You only get to keep 2 of these 4 people the next 5 years. Randle, Quickley, Robinson, Barrett, only 2 of the 4. Who are you keeping?
Did you say Mitchell Robinson in there?
Yep. It was Randle, Barrett, Robinson, Quickley.
Oh, 2 of the 5? No, I need Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle.
You're trying to keep 3. Okay.
Yeah,
I want to keep Robinson a lot too, but I feel like they're not gonna based on what I've been hearing the next year or two, whatever.
I need a core, and I love Mitchell Robinson. So another thing, I love Mitchell Robinson. I don't believe the Instagram videos. I can just tell he's uncomfortable on 3, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But I love Mitchell Robinson. I need RJ and Randle to stay. I need a core.
Agreed.
We can't keep switching. Obviously, you make moves here and there. Because obviously, the goal is to win a championship, and we're not a championship team now. We're on the right track. I need some stability. So I need guys to stay here. I need Randle to stay here. I need Mitchell Robinson, RJ Barrett. I need guys to stay here.
How much do you, because of RJ Barrett's increase in workload and ability in the past 10 to 15 games specifically, also shooting almost 50% from 3, which none of us thought would be close anytime soon, at least. How much do you think his increase is where do you think his peak actually is?
It's a good question. With the way he works so hard. I think his peak is extremely high. What number that is, what letter that is, I have no idea. He was shooting the basketball horrible early in the season, and he's shooting
over
the ball
21
a lot better. You're right. He's shooting the basketball a lot better now. I don't know if he'll ever be a pure knockdown shooter, but his ability to get to the basket, create space, and also be fearless is incredible.
I was
He doesn't
actually
need to be Klay Thompson. He needs to be Jimmy Butler.
I was actually
Right, yeah,
comparing
exactly.
him to Paul Pierce and the way he moves around, like his body, the way he dictates the game, like by his own pace, not in the style of play. Sort of Pierce had a different kind of game. He came a
Right.
little
The
polished,
fadeaways, better shooter. Yep.
but the way they like use their body to interpret their style of play is so similar.
They're not
Right,
fast
Paul
people,
Pierce
but they
was
get to
never
where
the
they
most-
want.
Exactly. Paul Pierce, guys like Zach Randolph. They're not even Allen Houston. They weren't the fastest or the quickest. They got to their spots. They knew what they were doing. You know.
Agreed, 100%. Same game that we just played for the players, but for the front office, you get to keep 3 of these 6 names for the next 5 years. Coach Tibbs, Leon Rose, Brock Aller, Kenny Payne, Worldwide West, Scott Perry. You get 3 of the 6.
That's so tough, man. Leon's got to stay because we need a guy to be here for a long time. Obviously, I think Mr. Perry's done a really good job. I really do. I think West is going to help a lot. Kenny Payne's been great. That's tough. I mean, I think Kenny Payne has an interview, I believe, soon. So
With DePaul today
Yeah,
or
DePaul
tomorrow.
today.
The
that's
Brinks
right.
truck at him.
So
he could leave.
that's tough. That's a tough question. I hope I can keep them all, but that's a tough one to answer. I gotta say.
If I was
going
going
to have
to
an answer.
That's fair. If I was going to say, just because I think Kenny Payne is going to end up leaving if he's going to get a head coaching job, and Brock Aller is going to end up being a GM at some point, one way or another.
Right.
I think it's Tibbs, Rose, and Wes. Honestly, Scott Perry,
Yeah.
Brock Aller. We're going to lose Kenny Payne
I
sooner or
understand.
later.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Learn the
I
game
think
from
the
Rhythm
two
West.
guys
Never
that
test.
need to be here the next however many years are Tibbs and Leon Rose. You need guys. You need stability, and that's not only just with players. That's with coaching. That's with GMs. That's with the front office. You're not going to ever win if you keep making wholesale. Now, are we ever going to see a Greg Popovich again? 25 years, a Jerry Sloan? I don't know. Probably not. But we can't keep making major changes every 2 years. It's not going to work.
It never does. It's ridiculous. I want to
Exactly.
avoid the whole, we were saying Gallinari, Wilson Chandler, they all got traded Raymond Felton for Melo before, and we all loved Melo, but we got to avoid that trade too. I don't want to do that either.
Exactly. We don't need to do, obviously if there's a blockbuster available in the summer, we'll see what's up. But I'm not making any wholesale changes, major changes right now.
What do you think about Andre Drummond coming here or anyone in the next week or two?
I mean, I guess that's Leon Rose and Scott Perry's job, right? To see what's available. You obviously make the calls for anybody, whether it's Andre Drummond, Bradley Beal, Victor Oladipo. You see what's available. You see what you can get them for. If the price is too high, you say buy. Because we're not the old Knicks anymore. We're not just going to do any move just for the hell of it.
We're not
The
going to
move
sell the
makes
house
sense.
anymore.
Right. We're not selling the house. Exactly.
Angela, you wanted to ask something?
I was gonna go back to the Tibbs front in terms of like, what happens if we what happens if we pull off some blockbuster trade and we get Beal and maybe even another guy like I don't even know. I'm just saying, let's just say we get a big 3. Those 3 players are going to dictate like what they want. So like in terms of Tibbs being here long term, it's up to the players. Like
Right. That too.
as much as Leon, trusts and they've
It
been.
seems the players like him though. Like
I'm
Tibbs.
sure the players love, but once they get those players on the team, man, it's just, I'm not saying Tibbs can't make them happy, but it's just like what they want is what they will get, I think.
So you think if you get some bigger names here, they might not want to play for Tibbs?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I just compare it in terms of like Kenny Atkinson's built
Kenny,
up
I get it.
culture. And
I
then
just
they
think
got
Tibbs.
rid of him.
I'm not saying you're wrong, but I know Tibbs has been around a little longer.
For sure.
If they get the right type of dog player, maybe they want to be with Tibbs. But you're right. I get your point though. If a star player comes here and they say, "I want the guy on the corner smoking a blunt to coach me," they're gonna get that person because star players always run the league.
Like what happens this year if Lakers don't win a chip? Is Frank Vogel still that coach?
Yeah, I think
He
so.
won
They
last
got-
year.
You would think. Listen, the Lakers could win a championship if LeBron says, "I want the guy in the corner with the blunt." He's getting the guy in the corner with the blunt.
Accent.
So
He's definitely not getting David Blatt. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Anthony, I was actually, so we do a little game here. Are you down to play a little game? It's called Truth or Selfie.
Truth or selfie?
So it's basically,
Sure.
I ask you 4 questions. They're not like hard questions. They're not like difficult to answer. Just like depending on what you are, like status, work-wise, stuff like that, you might not want to answer them.
This is being taped.
Yeah.
Okay,
So that's why. So that's why it's like truth or selfie. If you don't answer, you send us a selfie. We post it with the podcast.
Wait, you're gonna ask me multiple questions?
Yes.
So I have to send you one selfie.
One for each you don't answer. You're going to only not answer one of these realistically. You're probably going to answer all 4.
So if I give you the truth, I don't have to send a selfie.
Correct.
Okay, sure, go for it.
Okay. So starting
Gotta
off with this one's actually kind of funny. You're probably not going to really answer it. Did you know that the SoundCloud song you still have on your Twitter doesn't exist anymore? The whatever link that is.
I don't even know what's in my Twitter bio because like Instagram, you always say link in bio. Twitter, you just post the link. So I don't even know what link is there, to be honest.
It's from SoundCloud a long time ago. Looks like it doesn't exist.
I wonder what it is. Let's check it out. Let's see what it is.
Legit nothing.
But no, I feel nobody goes to your Twitter bio to click on anything. Oh, it was a show I haven't changed this in 5 years. It was a show I did with the Stash with Kaz. Yeah, I guess I should change it and put something else.
Yeah, I figured to let you know. I didn't know if you knew or not.
You.
No problem.
Thank you. I did not know. So
also,
is that a selfie or
you answered? It's fine. The two of these are going to be funny. They're not even going to be like questions like that. I just wanted to be part of it. Another one and the same thing is, are you also, so apparently you have a public figure page on Facebook. It looks like you haven't been on it since 2019 though.
I haven't really been on it since 2011. I think I may have posted a few things from it the last year or two.
Fair.
That's it.
That makes sense.
That's it.
Because you actually had AnthonyDonaghue.com at one point. And
I did.
I'm guessing that some kid in San Francisco messaged you to actually take over the URL because it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, Did you know AnthonyDonaghue.com was live for like 2 years. You know, I posted a lot of stuff on. I did all those on there. Yeah, I had AnthonyDonaghue.com for a few years, but I don't even think websites are important anymore.
Yeah, it's fair. So
it's all about your social media page and your iTunes and all that stuff.
If you go on it, it says that you're a fan of math and reading, and you go to Arizona State University, just so you know.
That is not me.
So those two weren't really part of the questions, but it's part of the game. Now the next two might be a little bit harder for you to answer.
I'm ready.
You've done work for both SNY and MSG, correct?
Correct.
And ESPN?
Yes.
Which of the 3 is the best to work for?
The best. I mean, I just started working for MSG Network, and I've known people there. They're amazing. SNY was great, and without ESPN, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I got great things to say about all 3. I'm really looking forward to my next chapter doing work with the MSG Network. My first show should be debuting probably next week with Quentin Richardson.
Oh, so sick.
Yeah. So all 3 places are amazing places. A lot of great people, and obviously I've known people with MSG for a long time before I even worked there. So it's very, very exciting to be a part of the MSG Network. It's been a dream of mine. SNY, a lot of great people from my friend Jason Pateri and Moke Hamilton, Tommy D. Ian Bagley is there now. So a lot of great people there. And of course, ESPN Radio, the list goes without saying, from BT to K and Stephen A, Ryan Hurley, John Winthrop, Bill Daughtry, Ray Santiago. Worked with amazing folks at ESPN Radio that I'm still in touch with.
You could tell you've been doing media for a long time, even prior to you saying all your accolades before, because you literally just gave a positive answer about all 3. Of
course. I mean, come on.
If you had to pick one, though, which one is it? And if not, you have to send us a selfie.
MSG.
Pick the current one.
No, because that's my I'm Anthony MSG. The MSG Network means so much to me. You know, that makes sense. It means so much. I'm not saying ESPN doesn't. SNY, is new. It's only 15 years old. I was a kid. Of course, I was a kid watching ESPN, like all of us. But I was a kid watching Al Troutwig and Bill Daughtry, and Bob Wischusen, Mike Breen, Sam Rosen, John Davidson, Sports Desk, Talk of the Town.
I miss Sports Desk.
Gus Johnson. So the MSG Network means the world to me.
Agreed. And like you said, you are Anthony MSG. It all makes sense.
Exactly.
And then for the last one, what has been the worst interview you've ever been a part of, whether it was someone interviewing you or someone you interviewed?
That's an easy answer. The worst interview ever was probably Black Rob. I had on my show a few years ago. He was just, I think, I'm inebriated, I guess. But he did tell the story how he wrote "Whoa," and it was pretty funny.
Was it on alcohol or was he inebriated on?
alcohol. I believe he was drunk on the show. I don't want to say 100%, but I think he was drunk, and it was just a wild interview.
That, I mean, if someone's drunk trying to talk to you, it never usually goes that well,
But
especially if you don't know who they are.
Woe is one of my favorite records of all time, and one of my favorite layup line songs. And I don't know if you guys know this, when I was a kid, the Knicks used to take the court, and they used to do a chant, and they'd say, "Ain't no way they're gonna stop our show." And they'd say like New York, like whoa, and something like that. So like the song "Whoa" was very special to me. So I met Black Rob a few years ago, got his number, came on my show, and just the interview was kind of just blah, you know.
I love the sound effect. We might cut that.
You know.
What's it called? That makes sense because we were all born in the 90s. So for us to like not
Right.
actually
Okay,
know
I was
too much.
born Black. You do you know the song "Whoa"?
I think I've heard it a couple times before, but
Think
not in like
you've
10
heard it.
years.
It's a great, like, it's one of my favorite layup line songs of all time.
Okay.
Like there's all types of music. You have your R&B, you have your this, but then there's layup. If you're a basketball player,
Right.
then there's layup line music. And "Whoa" is one of my top layup line songs of all time.
I think we're going to add that to the podcast at some
Can you
point
give
for
me
a small
top
clip
three
if we
again?
can.
I've never heard anybody talk to me about their layup line pocket. Give me your
If you
three.
want to hear my favorite layup line songs,
I do.
I would probably go with "Whoa," "Super Thug" by Noriega, and probably "Annie Up," M.O.P.
Oh, you're old school.
Annie up, nice.
You're
I
old.
think he
Man,
said
I'm
he's born in the
37
80s.
years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah, he just said
I'm
that.
an
I
old
was gonna say
man.
like Drake, Waka Flocka, and like Big Sean.
Oh God, Angela,
No,
you're
if
showing our age, man.
No, if I was putting together a warm-up tape, I would definitely come out to maybe "Tear the Roof Off," Meth and Red, or those songs get me hyped. You know what I'm saying? Definitely "Super Thug," "Off with His Head," Big Pun. Yeah. So of course I'd have a Nas record there. So yeah, I mean I am old, man. I'm an old man. You know what I'm saying?
We're adding that to the pod.
Anthony,
man.
you look great for your age, man. Also for what's worth.
Thank you.
I can't tell if it's under the hat, but it looks like you have more hair than both of us.
Well, no, because I got to.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
Yeah, no, we all have the same hair.
You wear hats in all your pictures. I didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought you. Yeah, I have the same hair as you guys.
Oh, dude, nice haircut. I like your barber.
I don't know if I call it a haircut, but yeah, I had the same. I had the same hair, or I should say, lack thereof. Let me ask you guys a question, since we're on the hair topic. So one of my best friends and barber, he's been one of my barbers since 2003, and of course he's morphed into one of my best friends. He is bald like us too. He's 4 or 5 years older. Shout out to Rico. And so he just got a license to do the hairline tattoo. Would you ever consider doing it? I don't think I would do it, but he's killing it. He's killing the game right now.
If I was like just missing from right here, maybe, but I'm missing complete. So
I've been shaving my head since I was 21 years old. I'm just committed to
so
it at this
you're
point.
just like me. I was about 21, 22.
Same.
But Rico's killing it. You know what I'm saying? And he's getting. But I think a lot of the clients, yes, they're kind of like where it's just right here, so they're filling it in. But
Right.
some are like us, where they're getting the dots from. So then you have to shave the sides like every 2 days, basically. And they got the dots, and it looks good. But I just don't know if I would do it. You know, but it looks amazing. And if you're interested in it,
Does it
you should
wear
hit
off?
up his. What's that?
Does it wear off after a certain amount of time?
No, it's a tattoo, just like any other tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't even. That's scary, honestly. Just having a needle next to my head.
But it looks great. It's hold up. I'm gonna show you some pictures. See how much you can see. So
I was gonna say, while you're looking it up, can you try to convince LeBron and Carlos Boozer to do this?
yeah, they need to see the shit. Like my
I do
thing
see
is
it, yeah.
that, like LeBron just shit, bro. You're 36 years old. You're not. He's acting like he's the only. Like no one's ever. I can understand at 21 and you go bald because I did at 21. So you're like, shit. I'm 21 and I'm gonna try to talk to a girl that I lost my hair. Now,
It hurts the first time you do it that young.
Right. So when you do it at 37, it's whatever. But like LeBron, bro, just shave it.
You know what's
Shave
crazy?
it, bro.
No homo. Like he don't look that bad. Like I remember that video he posted on like Instagram. Like during one summer, he was in like the workout room and
Yeah.
remember that video?
Yeah.
No, he didn't
just
look
shave
bad.
it.
He didn't look bad.
Yeah, just shave it off, you know.
Oh my God. Anthony O'Shea, thank you again for your time. I was just gonna say, anything you want to plug, and then also your relation. You have a relationship with New York Nico, right?
He is actually coming to the Knicks game with me tonight.
Oh, sick. Did you guys are you doing a commercial or anything like that? Or
Not tonight. I've known Nico about 3-4 years. He's a good friend of mine.
word up. Nice. And what else, anything else you want to plug?
Just, follow me on social media, Anthony MSG, Twitter and Instagram. I appreciate everybody's support. Knicks fans, you guys have been behind me for a long time, whether you just found out about me a year ago or the last, some people have been following me for 12 years or longer. So I appreciate you all, especially through everything in my life the last few years. You guys all mean a lot to me. So thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot. And I want to come to your deli soon. I want to come to your deli soon.
Yeah, man. One day I'll get you down there. We'll get you.
Let me know. Where is it?
It's in Howard Beach.
Oh, we're in Howard Beach.
On CrossFit Boulevard.
Okay. I used to go to my friend used to be the manager of That's a Wrap.
Who was your friend, Ant?
George.
I gotta know him. Yeah, I'm actually 2 blocks from there.
Angela, what's the name of the place?
Brothers Ravioli.
Oh, wow. You own that place?
Yeah.
Well, his parents do, but yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
One day he'll stop by.
Yeah,
Small world stuff.
George doesn't work at That's a Wrap anymore, but yeah, I used to go to That's a Wrap on Howard Beach all the time.
Yeah, man. Dope.
But George was the manager, but he's not from Howard Beach, so maybe that's why you don't know him.
Did he have like a goatee beard or something like that?
Like red hair?
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Anthony, I was going to ask you because your last name is Donahue. Did you drink on St. Patrick's Day?
I didn't, but I am half Irish, and I've been told if I go to Ireland, I won't pay for a beer.
That is awesome. Hopefully,
I've never gone to Ireland, but I need to try that one day and see if that works.
If there's ever a time to wear the Knicks St. Patrick's Day hoodie, it's going to be that weekend.
I don't, I have one green Knicks jersey, but I don't know. It's kind of retired.
It's not the best jersey to wear, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Vin, you keep messaging me about the New York Nico thing. Just unmute yourself and ask the question, man. I don't know who you want me to ask. Vin's been trying to get me to ask you a certain question about a commercial you do with New York Nico.
How was the experience that you did the whole Knicks intro?
It was awesome. It was easy for, I've known Nico for a while. He was the producer of the commercial. He asked me to come down, and we did like a bunch of takes, and that's the part they used. And it was a great time. It was a great experience.
There we go.
Yeah,
and then you said you wanted to plug the thing on MS. You're doing MSG stuff. You still doing podcasting?
I'm actually a retired Knicks podcaster.
Then we're gonna try to take over until you come back, man.
Right. Now, I'm not saying I'll never come back. Michael Jordan came back twice.
Very true. Should have been once.
As of right now, although he was still really good with the Wizards. I was at every game he played at the Garden with Washington too. As of right now, I'm a retired Knicks podcaster. That could change tomorrow. It might never change. So
whatever MSG pays you to do, man. Anthony MSG at the end of the day.
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? But right now, I'm a retired Knicks podcaster.
Fair. What do you got planned the rest of the day? You going to the Orlando game, right?
I am going from here. I am going to Yankee Stadium to get my second shot of the Pfizer vaccine.
Nice.
And then I'm going to meet New York Nico. We're going to the Knicks game together. And then hopefully, they say the second shot, you may wake up feeling like trash. So we'll see how that goes. So I made no plans tomorrow and Saturday, knowing that I may feel a little trashy from the vaccine. So we'll see about that.
Keep your health up, man. We love you again.
Health is wealth. And I love to hang out with you guys one day. I would definitely love some ravioli. That would be incredible. You know what I'm saying? So it's been great chatting. I could chat with you guys all day. It's been a lot of fun. Yes, I'll be at the game tonight in my new jersey, in my city edition jersey. So it's a lot of fun, guys.
We'll be looking for you way more than whoever's starting at point. We'll be looking for Obi Toppin.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, man. God bless.
All right.